Hello, Abnormal Investigations. Got another drop for you. Hope you all enjoy this one as it was sent in from Tennessee. So let's see what kind of encounter happened in Tennessee. As anyone who lives in East Tennessee knows, we had an unreasonably warm winter, meaning that you could go biking much later in the season than you would usually be able to. On the second week of December, I was really ready to go on a Saturday morning ride. But my dad, being the supervisor over several large companies, and my sister frankly having no interest that day, I realized I was going to be flying solo. Which wasn't really a big deal. I mean, it's not like it's the first time I've been biking by myself. I pulled up to the parking area of the local state park and was going to ride some of the bike horse trails as opposed to going to my usual park called Wind Rock. It was a particularly gloomy day and honestly a bit muddy. But I wasn't going to let that get in my way because I knew the cold weather was coming and I wanted to get in one more ride before it got too cold. The state park, which usually has a lot of hikers and even horse riders, was particularly empty that day. So I actually found a bit of tranquility in that. The trails were certainly nothing too crazy, so I was just actually taking it easy for once. I started to notice some strange rustling sounds to the left of me, but wasn't too concerned about it because you always hear some kind of animal in the woods while you're riding. But this was quite a bit louder than the normal sounds that you would hear. So knowing that there are bears in the area, I was just on a bit higher guard. As I continued on my gloomy ride, the noises never, not even one time, stopped. After a while, I pulled a bit off the trail to stand there and take a bit of a breath to hydrate. That's whenever I seen it. It stood much taller than me, meaning it had to be well over 6 foot tall, covered in matted and wet black hair, facial features like nothing I've ever seen in my life, and breathing with a snarling growl at the back of its throat. Not knowing what in God's name this thing was, I slowly slipped everything back into the pack that I have mounted under my seat. And as quickly as I could, I pedaled with everything I had in my body. No matter how fast or how hard I rode, it kept up with me with little to no effort. I was quite literally convinced that it was eventually going to make me wreck my bike or take me off in a diving leap at my back, and that was going to be the end of me. Eventually, after what seemed like for over half an hour, I came out of the trail entrance and back to the parking area. I didn't even bother mounting my bike on the back of my car. I just threw it into the back. And as I was driving out of this place, I looked to the left into the woods, and I could see it. It was running on all fours, keeping up with my car, looking at me. But the weird thing about it, and I will never forget this, and I don't know if it's strange or weird or if it's not what they do, but as it was running, it had its long tongue hanging out of the side of its mouth, and it had kind of like a smile. I don't know if it was growling or what, but I'll always remember that tongue hanging out. And as I was driving, it was staring at me. And I'm telling you, this thing was clearing ditches, it was going around trees, it was over shrubs, under shrubs, faster than anything I'd ever seen. Even though the size of this creature, its agility and its way to move was scary. Almost like a cat you would see playing in your house, how they can hunker down, twirl around, twist, jump. It was all of that, but in a very much larger proportion. As I finally hit the blacktop, to where the trees and the tall grass stopped and it went into the prairie fields of the cattle, it was gone. It had to have stopped at the tree line. I don't know that day why it let me live. I don't have to question, did I outrun it? Did it let me live? Was it afraid of me? I know for a fact that it let me live. If this thing would have wanted me, there is no doubt in my mind that it would have killed me that day. This thing had me at any time it wanted me. Why did it chase me? Why did it let me see it? I don't understand that. It has messed with my mind somewhat pretty bad. I don't think I can ever go trail riding again, and I had just bought a new motocross bike that I was wanting to take on the motorbike rides. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this and will probably end up selling my bike. I am one of the biggest skeptics you've ever seen, and I would have told you until I seen this that cryptids did not exist. But take it from me, somebody that never believed in it, that was my first mistake. I will never forget what I seen that day. It has forever changed my life. I don't look at the woods the same. Even watching a movie, a family movie, when I see families camping in the woods, it bothers me. I know what's in those woods now. And when I see those woods, I know that they're not empty. They're not just rabbits and deer and elk and other animals. There's monsters in there, and they will hunt you. Why it let me live that day, I don't know. I've asked myself this a million times. Maybe you can answer that question, Mike. Ugh. It's hard to tell. I've had some theories, but that's all they are, is theories. Sometimes I think that maybe they toy with us to scare us because they know that if they kill us, and they know that something killed us, and they are intelligent. They know that the higher ups are going to know what they've done, and they're going to be hunted. I believe they know this. I believe they know that if they cannot make it look like an accident, and they straight out attack somebody, that they're going to be hunted down, and probably their family and everything else, because I just believe they have that kind of intelligence. I believe they're a lot smarter than what people think. I believe they think on a level of a human, if that makes sense to you guys. Why it done that to you that day, I think it was toying with you. It meant to scare you. It was probably getting a kick out of it. It could have been a juvenile. It could have been practicing stalking, hunting, and running and tracking. And with you driving, it was practicing, getting through the woods and chasing somebody. It's hard to tell. But I'm glad you made it out of there. And I understand you've been afraid. And I hope that you get it figured out, what you want to do. If you don't ever want to go back and that makes you more comfortable not to go back, then I wouldn't go back. If you want to go back and you want to face your fears, then go back, but don't go back alone. And always, have something to protect yourself with. And until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to smash that like button.